Hi everyone, welcome back to another video. Today we're going to be making a doll's house bed for the Sylvanian Applewood cottage. Now I'm just going to welcome you into my little pile of trash. I've been a little bit of a magpie and gathered all this sort of stuff from the house that could be suitable for making a bed to see what we have and go from there. I managed to collect a load of odd little things that are hanging around, like old necklaces, beads, wooden canvas stretchers, which I think might come in handy for making some bedside cabinets in the future, old paint tops, pegs, wooden pegs, pens, you name it, all sorts of little things that just hang around. I've also got these hair roller clips or pegs or something could make a good wire bed. Just don't know how to attach them, and of course some paper clips. So with all of this, I think I'm going to try and use these pens. Now the inspiration for the bed that I would like is a old metal or brass bed from the kind of Victorian times, very vintage looking, with some nice gold brassy colourings. Now as I look on Pinterest for all sorts of little dollhouse DIYs and came across this one by I think Elena Nikitina, so full credits to whoever that is who designed this bed style. This is where I'm going to be drawing my inspiration from. I have adapted it for my own use of course, but this is where I got my idea from. So I had to figure out the dimensions for this house and the furniture. I figured out that it's 1/16 scale, the Sylvanian house is, and I ended up using a scale conversion chart that really helped with the sizing that I needed. It gives you all the kind of basic measurements for furniture. So I did that and kind of mapped it out on a piece of paper and got some pen insides. So we're going to essentially be burning them or heating the plastic up slightly with a lighter and just bending the corners like that, so you have a pipe. Now it would be better to have clear ones without any ink in, but you can do this with the ink, it's not too bad. So I just wanted to go through the scale. The scale in this house is a little bit off. As you can see downstairs, this would be the bed headboard, and it kind of matches up to what it would be like in real life, about half the size of the door, doesn't cover up too much of the windows. But upstairs, the bed size is way too small. And I know it's an attic room, but it doesn't work. I could put it there and it wouldn't cover up the window, but I might have to adjust some windows or possibly cover up one of them. So we'll see how that works. The next stage was to make the lengths that come down from the headboard, or the bars, and they have this like kind of little lumpy detail which I thought would work well with these beads. So I am trying to glue these on top of the lengths and then glue them to the headboard. I'm going to do about 4 of these. I did end up getting a bit of ink on my hands here because I'm not smart when it comes to cutting things with ink in them. But yeah, in order to stop this from happening, I then in the future decided to cut it and just kind of wipe it a bit and then fill it in with some hot glue, and that should stop the ink coming out. Or if you have any empty pens about, just use the empty pens, or you could go to the trouble of blowing all the ink out, but I don't think it's worth it. But yeah, anyway, so I did that and eventually did it with all hot glue instead because that worked better. And as you can see here, this is the paper bed size, and you could also add like more dowels and make it really complicated if you had the patience to do it. But yeah, this is how it worked out. As you can see, it is very gluey, and I will be fixing that later, but that's how it looks, and you can see the 3D details. Now I'm going to try and make the base bed with these 2 long sticks that I have from old knitting needles, crochet needles, and yeah, I just measured those to the size that I needed using the paper template. And to clear up some of the glue, I just heated it and wiped away any bits that were a little bit too lumpy. So heating it just melts the glue a bit and makes it a bit more smooth. So yeah, I just worked on the next headboard, which I made a little bit less high. And I did use this conversion chart, which I will link below because it was really useful to figuring out the sizing and the height and everything. But if you don't know, you can just get the size of a regular bed that you like online, check out the measurements, divide it by 16 or divide it by 12, and you should have the measurement that you need for the bed you're going to make. It's a little bit confusing. I couldn't get really my head around it that well, the sizing and scale, so I'm still to learn a bit on this whole thing, but really that chart is really impressive and is very useful for this, and I'll definitely be coming back to it. So I will link that in the comments and give it a download because it's definitely worth it if you're making any miniature products. So yeah, then I just cleaned up again with the heat, and these are the two headboards, one's slightly higher and one's slightly lower. And yeah, so I then just sanded those lengths that will be for the bed base and attached them. Okay guys, so skip forward an evening working on this little bed, and here it is so far. I couldn't really film all of it because it's a bit tricky to do so. So these two bits here are old crochet needles, and this is an old knitting needle. And of course all these bars and pieces of the headboard are all the insides of the pens. I used these little planks, what are they, popsicle sticks, and just put them in between. I glued everything together with hot glue. Super glue did not want to work on this, so hot glue it was. Also, a little fun fact, or a little cute fact, these glass beads that we're using, they came from a bracelet that my nana had given me when I was very little, and sadly she's no longer with us anymore, so I thought it was quite nice to incorporate this into this little project. So this little bed, it's for Nana. I also added some little safety eyes onto the bottoms of the feet. The feet are very short. For the bed I would like them to be longer, but because of the scale issues I decided to just make them a little bit shorter. I might be adding a valance onto the end anyway, so you probably won't see it. I'm going to be now painting it and trying to make it look like a brass bed, an old Victorian brass bed. You could paint this completely white and add some little rust marks here along the joins where it would have been kind of welded together to give it that rusty metal look, or paint it black, but I'm just gonna paint it black, and then I've got some gold paint and I'm gonna rub that over the top to hopefully give it a metal effect. I'm gonna leave these wood, and then we can get on to doing the mattress and the bedding, which will be exciting. Hold on 1 second and I will get a Sylvanian just so you can see the size. So here we go. He can fit in, his ears has to go through the hold, but you know, it'll work. And yeah, I think it's pretty cute. So that's how it's working out. We're gonna have to make a little pillow and a little mattress. I'm even thinking of going hardcore with this mattress and putting in little mini springs from the pens that I have destroyed. So yeah, we'll see how that goes. Okay, so we're back and I am now deciding to paint it all. I'm just using this same paint that I use in a lot of projects, which is a Rust-Oleum black gloss paint, and that can be used on multiple different surfaces and just gives a nice glossy finish. So I just painted all that up black, and once we had finished that, it took a few coats but it worked fine, and that's how it's looking with just black. And you can see this would look pretty cool just as is, but I'm going in with, I decided to use this pen instead, which is a permanent marker gold pen. My paint had all dried up, my gold one, so I think this actually worked better. And I was going to do the whole bed in gold, but I think just the little details on the bars just worked out fine. So here is the final bed, all finished, dried, and ready to have some bedding made for it. For my first attempt at miniature furniture, I think this came out really well and I'm pretty impressed. It does look like metal, and it's definitely a good one to try if you're after a vintage cast iron bed for your doll's house. Let me know if you like this video in the comment, and come back for the next one where I will be making a mattress and some bedding. So I hope you enjoyed, and I will see you in the next one. Bye.